BLOCKCHANCE 2021.
I'm more than honored to introduce our next speaker, William Soriano. William is a congressman from El Salvador who has a background in geothermal energy, finance, and mechanical engineering. There was quite a bit of talk yesterday at our conference about El Salvador, and today the congressman will be telling us about Bitcoin in El Salvador, Volcano bonds, and Bitcoin City. I invite you to direct your attention to the screen.
Bitcoin is going to change the world. It has already changed it, but it's going to change even more. We demonstrated that Bitcoin could do a lot of good things.
With the Bitcoin, with the cryptocurrency, with the blockchain, you have multiple opportunities to improve the life of our people.
El Salvador is fast. Which country in the world will announce one thing one day, start construction 4 weeks later, and finish it 60 days later? El Salvador, that's right. And I was thinking we should do a great announcement, right? But we already have Bitcoin as legal tender, so what could it be? Has to be something as good as that, at least. So I was thinking, what do we do? Do we bring Satoshi here? What do we do, right? It's a little hard. So we were thinking of building Bitcoin City.
The first countries that do this will have a massive advantage.
Residential areas, commercial areas, services, museums, entertainment, bars, restaurants, airport, port, rail.
This is a very historic moment. We're going to be issuing Bitcoin bonds.
If I had a company, a digital company, why wouldn't I want to be there? Zero income tax, zero capital gains tax, zero property tax, zero payroll tax, zero municipal taxes, and zero CO2 emissions.
So this is going to make El Salvador the financial center of the world. It's the Singapore of Latin America, and if the US continues declining, all of North and South America. But this is a big first step.
So it's just not a good or cool or nice idea. It's the evolution of humankind. So we're going there. And you can't stop evolution.
The best proof that democracy could work worldwide is Bitcoin. It's a democratization of the financial system that so far has been controlled by the central banks in the different countries.
Everything devoted to Bitcoin. For some reason, we're all here right now, and let's all push the future even forward.
All the way from El Salvador, please help me give a warm welcome to the stage, William Soriano.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be all the way from El Salvador to Germany. It's a bit cold, but it's okay. Last week, it was 30 degrees. Now it's just 1 or 2 degrees here. But we like it. You know why? Because it's the first time in our country that people talk differently about El Salvador. And let's be honest. What have you heard about El Salvador before? Violence, right? But what do you hear about El Salvador right now? Bitcoin? Bitcoin as a legal tender? Bitcoin City? The coolest president in the world, Nayib Bukele? Surf? And everything we're doing, actually, to change our country. Let me tell you about El Salvador. What is El Salvador? It is one of the smallest countries in Central America. And we have a population of 6 million people. 3 million people living in the United States. And that people, we still have a very big bond. And they send to El Salvador every month, every year, remittances. Remittances coming from El Salvador, they amount $7,000 million every year. Every single year for decades, they've been sending money to their country. $7,000 million. And you know how much they pay in fees to companies such as MoneyGram, RIA? $400 million every year, just by sending money back home. And that's only El Salvador. Can you imagine Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico? And that's quite a business. So when our president announced it, that Bitcoin will become a legal tender in El Salvador, what we actually did was make it more fair for everyone. So today I have a presentation. I'll give you some numbers. Quickly introduce myself. I'm part of the parliament in El Salvador. I'm a congressman. I'm 30 years old. I studied in Taiwan. I know geothermal energy. I'm part of the financial committee, budget committee, and economy committee in El Salvador. And I know I'm a bit young, but let's see it. Our president is young. We have a young parliament. And we have very good ideas to actually implement in our country. And you see it here. That's El Salvador. It's one of the smallest countries in the whole world, but one that has given one of the biggest steps that we've witnessed in the last years. And this small video is actually to show you what we're going to do in the next years. What are we planning on doing? What is El Salvador's plan to improve people's lives? All right, so have you heard about it, right? El Salvador became recently the first country to make Bitcoin a legal tender. Me, as a parliamentary, as a congressman, I voted, I raised my hand to actually make Bitcoin the first legal tender in the world. And that was quite an experience. Whenever you actually decide to change something or to face the system, you're going to face some opposition from it, right? And that was what we actually had to face all the way. But we had it clear that what we were about to do was something that will actually change the way we see the financial system in the whole world. With more than 63 votes out of 84, we were able to actually vote the law, pass it, and make Bitcoin the legal tender. But that was just the first step. As you can see, Bitcoin became legal. I'll show you some of the newspapers. The Congress approves the Bitcoin law, Bitcoin Day. And what we're actually trying to do right now is not only make Bitcoin a legal tender. No, that's only the start. That's only the first step. It was a very brave step. It was not easy to make it, but we're ready. Our president, he announced it in Miami. 3 days later, he sent the bill to the Congress, and that day we approved it. 2 months later, we were deploying the first digital wallet our country has ever had. And all has been so fast. But I'll show you some real interesting numbers right now. So how many of you know El Salvador already deployed his first digital wallet? It's called Chivo app, Chivo wallet. Chivo means cool in El Salvador, Chivo. You say, hey, que chivo? It means cool. So this wallet has been incredibly useful for all Salvadorans. And let me explain you why. Remember I told you that Salvadorans send $7 billion in remittances every year to El Salvador, and that they pay $400 million in fees. Well, Chivo wallet has allowed Salvadorans to send remittances with no fees, 0 fees at all, for free. So you can send money from the United States to your people in El Salvador, but you can send Bitcoins as well. And that's very important. You know why? Because 2 months ago, El Salvador, 30% of its population had access to a bank account. That's 1.2 million people. Can you imagine that? 30% of our people had a bank account. Before I boarded my plane to Germany, 80% of our people had already downloaded and used the Chivo wallet. That's 80% of our people that had access to a financial system, decentralized, in 2 months. We almost tripled all the bank accounts with all the banks in our country in 2 months. And that's only something that Bitcoin can make possible. Right now, as people are learning to use it, we've already received more than, I think that number might be updated, but more than $32 million in the last weeks in remittances. As people get to know it, as people get familiar with it, and they tend to trust it, it actually, the number will increase. So we're expecting to save more than $400 million. But that's not all. El Salvador has been purchasing Bitcoins with a single purpose, and I'm going to explain it to you soon. So back in September 6th, we purchased the first 400 Bitcoins. A country purchased the Bitcoin. Then we purchased another 100. Every time there's a dip, we buy it. Yes. I mean, we're not like Michael Saylor, that he buys all of it, but we're getting there. But we're doing something very important with Bitcoin, not only giving people economic freedom, but we're also investing in it. All the earnings we get, we're investing it in the children's hospital. We're renewing it completely. We're building 20 schools. 20 schools with computers for all the kids. New schools that are adapted to the new times that we're actually facing. Our country has suffered so much. I was born after the Civil War. I'm 30 years old right now, and I couldn't see that part of our history. But we come from a country that has been actually very corrupt, insecure, and there was a reason for that. Bad politicians. So I was like, why should I be a politician? What is the main purpose of being there and representing your people? And there's only one thing: changing people's lives positively. So when I thought about accepting Bitcoin as a legal tender, I thought all the possibilities. And we were actually brave enough to not listen the Monetary Fund and many other institutions. I've talked to them last week, and they have some serious concerns about Bitcoin. But it's okay. That's okay. So we also are building the first veterinarian hospital, and everyone can take their pets for free to this hospital. And that's just the beginning. So what's going to be Bitcoin City? Have you heard about it, right? Can you raise your hands? Who actually heard of it? Wow, that's nice. So I'm going to explain you what Bitcoin City is, and how are we going to make it possible to happen.
So actually,
let me introduce Mr. President first.
Present to you Bitcoin City.
Yes. So actually, our president, he's one of the youngest leaders around the world. And like him, we are eager to make decisions that will actually change very fast our country. And Bitcoin City is one of the ways that we're going to achieve it. First of all, that's my hometown. You see that volcano? That's my hometown. So I'm very happy to be actually presenting and talking about Bitcoin City, because it's going to happen where I grew up. So this volcano, it will never erupt, don't worry. It will never erupt. What it does, it has its own magma surrounded by water, and that creates steam. And that steam goes through a pipe, and it goes to a turbine, and it creates energy. And that's how we're going to power Bitcoin City. But we will also use this money, this power, to actually mine Bitcoins as well. First of all, we're going to use geothermal power plants in two ways. Power the city and mine Bitcoins. I've heard many times that Bitcoin is just too difficult with energies and it's not green. Well, we're changing that. We're proving the world that Bitcoin can not only be a legal tender, but it can also be powered and mined with renewable resources. El Salvador is showing the world that it can be done, and we're doing it. But also, what is Bitcoin City? What's going to have Bitcoin City? First, we're going to pass a law that's going to give all the legal frame so that your investments are actually safe. No taxes at all. For real, no taxes. It's like 0 taxes on capital gains, 0 taxes on property, 0 taxes on payroll, no CO2 emissions, because it's going to be powered by that volcano. So who wouldn't want to live there, for real? It's summer all year, 30 degrees, the best beaches ever, for real. You got islands. Let me show you. So that's the volcano, and you can chill anywhere you want. And it's nice, and it's safe, and it's going to be the future. Also, our government is going to make it possible by issuing volcano bonds. And what is a volcano bond? Have you heard of it? No? None? All right, that's good. So I'm going to explain it to you. All right, so El Salvador, next year, in the first months of 2022, will issue the first volcano bonds. And what is a volcano bond? It's going to be a $1 billion over 10 years. Half of it, $500 million, will be used to buy Bitcoins. And the other half will be used for infrastructure development of Bitcoin City and Bitcoin mining. So we will build a new geothermal power plant to be able to mine it, and also to develop all the infrastructure Bitcoin City is going to need. And we will begin building it 60 days after we issue the bonds. After we close the deal, we will begin construction. That's why our president said, which country in the world begins building something right after he announces? Well, El Salvador is going to do it that way. So it's going to be very easy. How can I participate in this kind of bonds? First of all, you only need $100, and you'll be able to participate in it. Anyone can participate on Bitcoin City and volcano bonds. And that's the magic of it. It's very accessible. And we'll be able to create the first financial tool for countries who actually want to benefit and use Bitcoin. And this is a very brave step, because you know what's going to happen if we actually issue them, right? We're going to be the first ones, but not only the first ones. We will open the way for many other countries who are being told what to do every time. Not only by the IMF, but many other institutions. And they tell you what to do, and they tell you the conditions. You know, once our president told them, we don't want to do what you tell us to do. That's not how it is. We want to do what you do in order to be successful. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do what they do, not what they say we have to do. So traditional bonds, how much they pay? 14% in an annual coupon? That's basic stuff. What Bitcoin bonds are going to do is that we're going to give you 6.5% in annual coupon, plus all the appreciation Bitcoin's going to have, and half of the earnings of El Salvador as well. in 10 years, if Bitcoin prices go all the way up, you're going to receive average 165% in return if things go as we expect, right? And that's just important, because if El Salvador has success, that I believe it will, we are opening the road, we are paving the road, a non-existent road, for many other countries that actually are trying to be free, to have economic freedom. And that's quite important. El Salvador has been always told what to do under someone else's conditions. Nobody asked me if I wanted US dollar as a currency. They just passed the law without telling anyone. Nobody asked us. And what happens if the United States prints 40% of their US dollars in the last 2 years? What's going to happen in my country? Inflation. Is there anything we can do about it in my country? No. Our people are defenseless. There's nothing we can do to protect our people. And that's where Bitcoin comes in. And that's our new strategy, to actually protect our people from this crazy inflation we're living right now. This is what I was telling you. So investors, if Bitcoin prices hit $1 million in 2032, you'll receive 165% in return rate. And you're going to keep your Bitcoins as well. And that's something quite important for us, because it's going to pave the road for not only El Salvador's economic freedom, but also many other countries, not only in Latin America, but other parts of the world. So you guys are ready to visit El Salvador? I hope you are. Some of you guys have been in El Salvador recently. Can you raise your hands? Who has been in El Salvador recently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 6. That's awesome. It is, especially because El Salvador is not in the headlines because of violence or something like that. It's because we're leading the change in the world, because we're doing something meaningful for humanity. And we want it to work the best way possible. It's not only about money. It's about quality of life for our people. I told you at the beginning, 3 million people left our country because of the war. We don't want our kids to leave our country. We want them to stay and thrive in our own country, in our own economy. And that's why we have trusted Bitcoin to be that beacon of hope of our country. Not only we can save fees, but we can actually create a new society based on a new form of payment, savings, and economic freedom. And it's very impressive if you take a look at this way. El Salvador has been through so many things, but we decided to leave it behind. There's a new generation of politicians raising. Many of my colleagues are less than 30 years old. Our president is 40 years old. You know why? Because we were tired of someone else taking decisions that will affect our future. So we decided to step up and take those decisions for our own good, for the future of our country. And that's why Bitcoin at the beginning sounded like something really crazy for a lot of people. But we've proven that it's the right tool for protecting not only undeveloped economies, but the whole monetary system in the whole world. I'm more than glad to be here for real. I'll give you more information in the next months. I travel all the way from El Salvador here so I can actually speak to you and let you know that El Salvador is actually preparing everything for in 2 months, we can issue the first bonds. And you're going to hear about it. It's going to be quite impressive. We believe, we already made some surveys, that the bonds will be oversubscribed. And when people realize that, and when countries realize what we can do with Bitcoin, not only El Salvador is going to be looking forward to accept Bitcoin as a legal tender. So I invite you guys, from wherever you are, even from Germany, United States, what other countries we have here? Mexico? Croatia. Iran. Russia. Austria, yeah. Where? Oh, Netherlands. So go back to your country and tell your politicians, I want Bitcoin as a legal tender. Tell them. It's possible. It is possible. We already proved them that it's possible. We made it up in El Salvador. So they cannot tell you it's not possible. It is. It is. It only needs the desire to do it and to have it clearly in your mind that it's only going to benefit your people. So you have this task, all right? Go back to your countries and tell them it's possible. We want Bitcoin as a legal tender. And you'll see it happening in the next months. Many other countries will follow El Salvador's example. And that's what I'm happy to announce about, that El Salvador is no longer known for its previous violence, but for looking forward to the future, paving the road for different countries, and making history. So I'm definitely looking forward to see you guys in El Salvador. We're going to plan some really nice things in the next months, and I'll be more than glad to actually invite you all. You can ask around what El Salvador is like. People felt safe. They like the food, weather. People are nice, for real. You should give it a try, yes. You should give it a try. And I'll be more than glad to host you all. Me personally. I'll be more than glad to actually host you. Because that's what we want. People going back to El Salvador and seeing that opportunities are tangible, that you can really have success in El Salvador. We're preparing all the best conditions possible. We're open to suggestions. If you guys see something that you think we can actually make it better in El Salvador, let us know. We're open. Because we want it to be the best way possible. I'll give you my email address. If there's anything that you actually can help us, I'll be more than glad to receive all your feedback. But definitely, we're hoping that this 2022 will be the best year El Salvador has had in its 200 years of history. You know how we celebrated our 200 years of independence? By declaring Bitcoin as a legal tender. That's the real independence we're looking for. And that's the way we celebrate it in our country. And I know you guys are all part of it, because you believe in it. And I know you guys will help us also achieve the best outcomes possible for El Salvador. So guys, I truly invite you all to come to El Salvador, enjoy what El Salvador has to offer. You will see it for yourselves. Many of you have been there before, and you're going to love it for real. But I truly invite you to be more informed about El Salvador. Follow up. You'll see the changes pretty soon. They're happening very fast. 6 months ago, nothing of that existed in El Salvador. Not even the law, not even the digital wallet, not even the idea of Volcano bonds. 6 months ago, that didn't even exist. And times are changing quite fast right now, that if we actually lose sight of it, so many things will happen in that time. So I invite you guys, follow up with El Salvador, be informed, and especially buy Bitcoin bonds. Please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Senator William Soriano. Make sure to find him, take a picture, and tag us with #PositiveFuture. Yeah? Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see the Congressman a little bit later on our panel, okay? In about 30 minutes. Great.
BLOCKCHANCE 2021.